Welcome to the Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat Kearns. Just 7 minutes a day to slow down, reflect, and to return to what matters most. Today we're stepping into a quiet but powerful moment. Not loud, not flashy, not trending on the surface, but real. Because while many are walking away from the faith, some are quietly, intentionally coming home. And today we're asking, why are Generation X men and women, those who grew up in the middle of a cultural upheaval, finding their way back to the Catholic Church? Generation X, born between the late 1960s and the early 1980s. They are the forgotten generation. Not the rebellious boomers, not the idealistic millennials, not the hyper-connected Gen Z. They were raised in a world that was losing its faith, but hadn't fully let go yet. They remember going to church as kids, but also watching their parents stop going, hearing truth, but seeing confusion, being told what matters, but watching society abandon them. And many of them drifted, not in rebellion, but in silence. Let me introduce you to someone. His name is David. He's 47 years old, successful career, nice home, a couple of kids, a life that on paper looks complete, but something is off. Here he is. I wouldn't have called myself unhappy, just empty. Like I had done everything I was supposed to do. Career, check. Family, check. Financial stability, check. But I kept asking myself, is this it? David wasn't angry at God. He just forgot about him. And for many in Generation X, that's the story. Not rejection, just slow neglect, until something begins to stir. David begins noticing something about the people around him, especially his friends. Here he is again. I started seeing it more clearly during COVID than after. My friends, they don't believe in anything anymore. Not God, not truth, not even themselves, sometimes. Everything is temporary. Everything is negotiable, even reality. He watches friends constantly chasing happiness, but never finding it, relationships falling apart, anxiety, depression, isolation, a deep, quiet despair. They laugh, they drink, they scroll, but there's this heaviness, like no one knows why they're here, and honestly, it starts to depress me. And that's when something unexpected happens. Not a lightning bolt, not a miracle, just a question. One night I couldn't sleep. I walked into the living room and just sat there, and I thought, if there is no God, then none of this matters. My life, my kids, my choices, nothing. And for the first time in my life, that terrified me. So what does he do? Something simple. Something small, something ancient. He walks into a Catholic church. I didn't expect much. Honestly, I thought it would feel outdated, irrelevant. But when I walked in, it was quiet, still, sacred. He notices the silence, the reverence, the crucifix. No one was performing. No one was trying to entertain me. It felt like this wasn't about me at all, and strangely, that's what made it feel real. He begins attending Mass, at first just observing, then listening, then wrestling. Because here's what Gen X is rediscovering. Not a program, not a trend, but truth. The church didn't change to fit me, and that's what drew me in. He encounters authority in a world of opinions, structure in a world of chaos, truth in a world of confusion, sacrifice in a world of comfort. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't being sold something. I was being called to something. He begins OCIA. He reads, he struggles, he confronts his past. I realized I had spent my whole life avoiding hard truths, and the church was inviting me to face them. And this is where it gets deeply personal. I started looking at my life differently. My marriage, my kids, my choices, even my failures. He sees where he was absent, where he was selfish, where he had drifted. And instead of crushing me, it gave me something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. There was a moment I almost didn't go through with it. Confession. I hadn't been in decades. Honestly, I didn't even know where to start. He sits in the pew waiting, watching others walk in and walk out quietly. I kept thinking, what am I even going to say? Where do I begin? What if it's too much? But something deeper pushes him forward. Not guilt, not fear, something else. Truth. He walks into the confessional, sits down, and for a moment says nothing. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. And then it all comes out. Years of distance, missed moments, failures as a husband, failures as a father, things he buried, things he justified. I thought I would feel shame, but instead I felt seen. Not judged, not rejected, seen. And then he hears words that he hadn't heard since he was a child. I absolve you. And something broke open in me, or maybe something was finally healed. And this is what the world cannot offer. Not distraction, not escape, but forgiveness. I used to think the church was just rituals, repetition, tradition for tradition's sake. But then I started to understand the Eucharist. He watches the priest elevate the host. Silence fills the church. And for the first time, I ask myself, what if that's real? Not symbolic, not a reminder, but Him. If that's truly Christ, then nothing else in my life matters more. And if it's not, then why does it feel like everything in me is being pulled toward it? A hunger I didn't even know I had. And this is where Generation X begins to see clearly, not just what the world lacks, but what the church uniquely offers. My friends still think I'm crazy. They say things like, "You don't really believe that, do you?" But here's what I see. They're searching. They just don't want to admit it. He watches them redefine truth constantly, avoid commitment, seek identity in everything but God. They want meaning, but they don't want to surrender. They want purpose, but without responsibility. And I get it, because that was me. Gen X is coming home because they've lived enough life to know what doesn't work. They've seen the empty promises of the world. They're tired of relativism and confusion. They're craving truth, structure, and meaning. And the Catholic Church offers something radical. Unchanging truth in a changing world. I didn't come to the church because it was easy. I came because it was true. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Because here's the truth. Generation X isn't coming back because the church got easier. They're coming back because the world got emptier. And somewhere between success and exhaustion, between noise and silence, between having everything and feeling nothing, they're hearing something again. Not loud, not forceful, but steady. A voice that says, "Come back." And maybe that voice is speaking to you too. Welcome home. This is The Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat Kearns. Just 7 minutes a day to come back to what matters most. God bless you.